behind the pitcher, he'd be on the grass in front of the play instead of behind the catcher where the catcher's blocking the umpire.
Yeah, and it's been a long day for Jerry Meals. Of course, he's been getting a lot of hatred.
He's in the wrong position.
Well, look, baseball is we've seen calls go against teams before. We've seen calls that have been either good, calls that have been bad. And you'll agree with me too, Jeff. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all have things we have to work on. And I'm glad that he at least admitted that he was wrong about the call and said that Nava was safe.
They're showing what he was saying right now, and he says, after watching the replay, I see that I missed the call. That's because he was in the wrong position. You can't be behind the catcher like that. How can Sean, how can you be behind the catcher like that and see home plate? The catcher's blocking your view of home plate. How are you going to see home plate as an umpire if you're behind the catcher? Tell me that.
No clue. But Jeff, I understand how big this is for baseball. Let's just calm down here, okay? Because I know one thing. I've seen lots of baseball games. I've seen calls that have either been, made or missed. There's a list of bad calls that have happened in pivotal games, including World Series games. You got Don Denkinger. He, of course, was a guy who was the villain.
If you notice, all the umpires are in that same position. And always the catcher is blocking them. That's the wrong spot to be in. They need to be on the front side of home plate. So when the ball's coming in, they can see it. Boom. If the ball's coming from right field, they go down the freaking third baseline and they stand down there. So they can see the play from that angle. You can't see the play from behind it. You got to be in front of it.
Yeah, you have to be in front of it. But I'm just saying, think about all the calls that have been bad, for other umpires. And, I think you have to realize, too, that it's a part of the game. And I believe for the Red Sox, it's not going to become a distraction. I think, you have to learn to move on. If you're the Red Sox, you're kind of saying, look, we're in the middle of a pennant race here. We can't lose our composure. We can't just get all upset about this. We have to move on. And if we move on, great. If we don't move on and we can't get over it, then that's going to be a problem. Like I was wondering, could that thing with Ortiz start the whole thing with umpires? And then 48 hours later, you got another bad call happening. And then, keep in mind, too, about the other, what happened between Boston, New York. We did a show a few weeks ago, Jeff, about how the umpire called a Yankee out, but clearly replay showed the Yankee was safe. I think, in my opinion, if Selig does this would be great. I would agree with him on this. Maybe put instant replay together for a player that's either out or safe. If just go back and review it.
It's happening everywhere in
because
baseball,
then throw a red flag. Have like a team have like the NFL. Throw a red flag and challenge it if it's if you want to go ahead and have like one or two challenges.
It's happening everywhere in baseball. It's all the umpires, and the problem is there's no repercussions, so they don't give a flying hoot.
And think about other umpires, too, that have made bad calls. You think about one of my friends who was actually messaged me on Facebook last night, Facebook Messenger. He was saying, I was at the game and we saw the replays of calls that were missed. He goes, think about that 19-inning game between Pittsburgh and Atlanta when the home plate umpire, missed that call. Or I was think of Joyce, who was the first base umpire that cost the Detroit Tigers the no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians, and then it really angered. He got death threats and hatred, and it's just bad that people can overreact and try to threaten, and a referee or an umpire or something that a call that went against a team. But if you're the Red Sox, you got to learn to move on from it. Of course, I am. I was still pretty upset with it, but like you said, Jeff, you have to and do your.
If the umpire was in the right position, he would have made the correct call. But because he was blocked, he couldn't see what the hell was going on. I never understood that. I never understood why they were behind the catcher. They think they can see something from behind? What are they, crazy? They got to be in front of the play.
Yeah, very, very true.
And that's just ridiculous to me. And I never, ever understood that.
Yeah, but that was one of the biggest, calls of the night because not only that, but you got to keep in mind this is a battle between right now Boston and Tampa Bay, and Boston and Tampa Bay battling in the AL East, and I'm expecting that if it continues like this, it could go right down the wire between the two teams. 2008, of course, that went down the wire. Tampa Bay beat Boston by 2 games, and of course, 20. We all know the story there, even I do, which ended in in tragedy, or what you call heartbreak, for the Red Sox when they blew that 9-game lead. So it's going to go, I think, right down the wire. But another thing you got to keep in mind with Tampa Bay, real quickly, they're the team that is playing the hottest baseball. Mm-hmm. They are red hot right now. They are 21-4. That breaks the 1944 or 1941 New York Yankee record for the hottest month of July, and they're winning right now against the Diamondbacks.
And Tampa Bay's playing the Diamondbacks?
Interleague play right now.
Jeez Louise, Batman. And they're half a game up on the Red Sox right now, huh?
Yeah.
Go Tampa Bay! There you go.
The other news to report, we go to the game that Jeff has been wanting attention to. Everybody knows that tonight is the day-night doubleheader between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Right now, Game 1, Pittsburgh and St. Louis are tied at 1.
Yeah, 1-1, 10th inning. I've been paying attention to that. They got another game to play, too. It's supposed to start at 7:35 their time. Oops. Because it's 6:30. It's 6:24 right now in Missouri.
Yeah,
which is
6:24, 7:24 p.m.
It's 6:24 over there in Missouri, which is where St. Louis is. Okay, I know that because I used to live in Missouri. So, and they're supposed to play. They're supposed to start the second game at 7:35. 7:35 Eastern, which is 6:35 Central. Okay, so they're supposed to do that, but that's not look like that's going to happen. They're not done with this one game because guess what? It's 6:25 right now, and they're still playing the first game.
Now, everybody knows that last night the Pittsburgh Pirates, they absolutely destroyed the St. Louis Cardinals, and it was like a playoff game. That place in Pittsburgh went crazy. It went nuts when the game was won by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I know, the Pirates are only a half a game out of first. So if St. Louis wins the first game and the second game, I'll be happy.
And then don't forget, tomorrow night's game will be on ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball. It'll be Pittsburgh hosting St. Louis.
Dodgers are 2.5 in front now over the Diamondbacks. How crazy. Dodgers went from first to last place.
Dodgers did, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm not Dodgers. I'm sorry. San Francisco Giants were in first place a couple of months ago. Blam. Look at them. They're in last place now.
Well, keep in mind, if you're talking about the Dodgers,
how about first place? 56 and 48.
Dodgers have been just like Pittsburgh and just like Tampa Bay. They have been red hot, Jeff. They've been playing really well. Don Mattingly has got them playing some great baseball.
They haven't lost a game since the All-Star break, right?
Yeah, and they've just been outstanding. And I know, Jeff, you'll be shaking your head. They're playing an interleague game tonight, and that would be against the New York Yankees tonight.
Oh, where?
This game will be at Dodger Stadium, and expect that game to be packed with Dodger and Yankee fans.
Yeah. That'll bring back World Series days.
Well, yeah, Reggie Jackson, Tommy Lasorda, Jackie Robinson, Joe DiMaggio, the list goes on, especially going back to the days when they went to Brooklyn. Now, a little bit of history between the Yankees and the Dodgers. These teams have met, I believe, 11 times in the World Series. The Yankees have won 8 World Series. The Dodgers, of course, have taken 3 World Series. In the last World Series the two teams played, got to go all the way back to 1981. That was when the Dodgers beat the Yankees in 6 games in the 81 Fall Classic.
1981. You weren't even alive then, were you?
Yeah. But, of course, a lot of my family remembers when Reggie Jackson, the Mr. October, hit 3 home runs at the old Yankee Stadium in 1977.
Yeah, 1977 team. That's the team, man, right there. That was team for me. That was 1977 and 1978 actually. Those were the 2 teams. That's that was when they had freaking Ron Guidry and Craig Nettles and Chris Chambliss and
Lou
Willie
Piniella.
Randolph and Lou Piniella and Thurman Munson and Reggie Jackson and Mickey Rivers. Holy moly, you know what I'm saying? Oscar Gamble. What did you just name the whole starting lineup?
Well, Jeff, I tell you, since we're having fun here talking about this baseball, this rivalry going back to the days when the two teams played in New York. Baseball was such a religion back in that area. Look at what the teams were like in New York. Of course, the Yankees, of course, there. Then you had the New York Giants.
Well,
then you had Brooklyn.
Yeah, right. Well, not back in the
50s. You're talking 40s and 50s when baseball was so popular.
Yeah, but back in the, I'm talking back in the 80s before you were 78, 77, 78.
That's right. And the Yankees.
Back then, you only really had the Knicks, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Rangers, I believe. Back then, if I remember correctly. Then the Islanders came, and then the Devils came, and you had something going on up there in Buffalo. What the hell's Buffalo's outside of New York, but it's way, 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 way north. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I just think, but yeah, the rivalry between before we go to the update, Yankees and the Dodgers, or Dodgers Yankees, goes all the way back to New York. Goes back to the days when they were called the Brooklyn Dodgers, and then you had the Yankees, and they played a lot in the World Series.
Mm-hmm. A lot. What do you say we go to the update?
We'll get some more back into this little rivalry, sure.
All right, the update is brought to you by BuyHuntingEquipment.com. For all your camping, fishing, hunting gear, and outdoor gear, head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com. That's BuyHuntingEquipment.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the only update of the day.
And thank you very much, Jeff. Welcome, everybody, to Sports World Radio. We have reached the bottom of the hour. It is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2013. Here's your update. Let's begin in Major League Baseball, shall we? We'll start in the National League. The St. Louis Cardinals at the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Game 1 of this pivotal 5-game series between these two teams. It is the bottom of the 10th inning, and this game is tied at 1. And it's huge because if Pittsburgh wins and they beat the Cardinals, then that means Pittsburgh will be able to pick up ground and take first place away from St. Louis. Anything could happen. The Philadelphia Phillies, as everybody knows, they will be home right now. They're playing San Francisco Giants. The Phillies are really struggling of late and possibly not going to make the playoffs again. And you got to keep in mind this, too, a little bit of background about the Phillies. We'll mention this when we get back from the update. The Phillies are looking at possibly trading Cliff Lee, and there are a number of teams that are looking at him. The Colorado Rockies at the Atlanta Braves. Right now, that game is 1-1. The National League East leading Braves got a home run from Freeman down in Turner Field in Atlanta. The Miami Marlins are hosting the New York Mets. That game is 0-0. Got other games that are coming up. Of course, Game 2 tonight. It'll be the St. Louis Cardinals at the Pittsburgh Pirates. And speaking of which, everybody, tomorrow night on Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN, it'll be the St. Louis Cardinals at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now let's move into other games. One final today from the National League. The Milwaukee Brewers take the game by a score of 6-5. This is the Game 1 of the day-night doubleheader between the Brewers and the Cubs. An old rivalry, and I do mean an old rivalry. It will be the New York Yankees taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. If history serves me correctly, when these two teams have met, they have played 11 times in the World Series. The Yankees have beaten the Dodgers 8 times in the World Series. The Dodgers have beaten the Yankees 3 times. And you think about all the greats between this matchup. Thurman Munson and Tommy Lasorda and Jackie Robinson and Lou Gehrig and, of course, Babe Ruth and all the other greats who have played in this rivalry. Ron Guidry. And they have played, of course, in the 70s. Everybody, of course, can remember 7 when Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs. Or, of course, when the Dodgers finally beat the Yankees in 1980. That was the time, however, that the two teams played in the World Series. And you got to keep in mind, in 2009, when the Yankees played the Phillies, that actually could have been the Dodgers, and that could have been Joe Torre going up against his former team.